Hi guys, Daz here. Welcome to my channel. This is Daz's top 20 selling comic books of the week, episode 65. And yeah, a Brucey bonus. We're back to the 20. Last time I had just the info for the top 10. Today I'm going to be discussing the best selling comics on eBay for the week of the 20th of March 2020. Since coverprice.com came on the scene, they've become a go-to spot for watching eBay trends on comics. And they scour thousands of eBay sales to combine data to spotlight the hottest selling books. Here is this week's top 20, guys. As always, let's find out if you can beat me. Most people normally do. I can imagine quite a few people, myself included, have turned to eBay to pick up some books because, of course, we can't get out at the moment due to this terrible coronavirus. So stay safe, guys. I've made up a good haul that I'm going to show you in the next few days just from eBay. The first book, number 20 on our list, and the first printing was Fire. Number 20 this time round is Batman 89. The second printing, guys. Yeah. The first appearance, or first cameo appearance of Punchline and the Designer. This book sold 21 copies because it was well anticipated. Despite its abundance, a lot of folks turned to online sales. It had a 7-day trend of plus 87% and a high sale raw copy went for $9.99. 19 on our list is a title that I did a hot comic book alert about. Everything Star Wars is quite warm, to say the least, at the moment. We've got a ton of good Mandalorian news, and new comics that are coming out with possible first appearances in are being snapped up. I made a hot comic book alert about Star Wars Bounty Hunters issue number 1 because it showed off 3 new bounty hunters, the main one being Nakano Lash. And the current hot series at the moment from Star Wars is Star Wars Bounty Hunters issue number 1, and this is a gorgeous 1 in 50 Johnson incentive variant. Very cool looking indeed. Shows the reflection of Nakano Lash in Boba Fett's helmet. What did it do? It sold 29 copies. This past week had a 7-day trend of plus 64% and a high sale raw copy. Raw went for a staggering $149.95. Like I say, my LCSs do not get in the incentives. I don't get a shout at these books. But that is a stunning cover, and I think it's going to be a good book going forwards. I've got the regular and the B variant cover. Now, 18 on our list is old school Marvel. We're talking 1988, and with Wolverine entering the MCU down the line, he's probably the most anticipated Marvel character to appear in the movies since Spider-Man back in 2016 when he turned up in Captain America Civil War. And this character's books are just going to continue to move. The book in question is Wolverine, issue number 1 from 1988. Now, I've passed on several copies of this one, guys, because they've been pretty beat up. If I'm going to go with it, and I do love the Wolverine character, it's got to be at a price that I'm happy with and the grade to match. That book sold 11 copies at a 7-day trend of plus 87% and a high sale VF Plus raw copy went for $54. I've been reading that they are desperately trying to get Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine for the MCU. What a capture that would be. They are offering big money, hence I don't think it will happen. But I've been seeing all kinds of rumours. You're seeing that Henry Cavill, Superman, being lined up. Even Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter as Wolverine. Really not for me. Then they also talked about, was it Scott Eastwood, Clint Eastwood's son? Got more of the look, but again, I don't think he's got the acting chops to pull it off. Hugh Jackman really brings a lot to that role. Number 17 on our list, and I spoke about Star Wars books, guys. And the Bounty Hunters books is a story about a character by the name of Bylert Valance. And his first appearance happens in this book. Believe it or not, I didn't know about this till recently. This is from 1978, the book in question. Star Wars issue number 16, guys. The first appearance of Bylert Valance, the character from the Star Wars Bounty Hunters books. What can I tell you about that one? It sold 13 copies, had a 7-day trend of plus 156%, and a high sale raw copy went. A high sale raw copy went for $14.99, and they were saying that was a roughly around about a 9.0 ungraded. I'm really getting into my Star Wars books. Me and my boy were binge watching the Clone Wars. Now it's on Disney Plus here in the UK, and cannot wait for Mandalorian season 3. I'm watching that with my daughter. Fantastic stuff. Surprisingly, how good Carl Weathers is. We all know him as Apollo Creed, but he's got some acting chops. He does a real good stint as the man in charge of the Bounty Hunters, Grief. Number 16 on our list, more old school Marvel, and this comes from 1980, and people are turning to this book because they're in preparation for the Disney Plus show of Moon Knight. The book in question, Moon Knight issue number 1 from 1980. Again, a book I've seen between £5 and £10, pretty beat up, but not too much going for that book, other than I think it's the first appearance of the villain, Bushman. Now, Bushman is perhaps going to be turning up in that Disney Plus show. Of course, it's the first self-titled Moon Knight book as well. But what did it do on eBay this time round? Well, it sold 20 copies. It had a 7-day trend of plus 103%, and a CGC 9.8 went for a whopping $270. Like I said, guys, I think people are turning to that because Werewolf by Night issue 32 is out of the price range for a lot of people right now. Fortunately, I have a copy. I think I paid about 120 for mine, hoping to get it graded soon. I think it's going to be in around about the 5.5 to 6.5 range, somewhere in that ballpark. It's a pence copy, but excited to see where that one turns up once graded. But I'm very surprised that people aren't turning to Werewolf by Night issue 33. I picked up a mid-grade copy for about £8 off my friend in town, and I would much rather personally have that second appearance than that Moon Knight issue number 1. Now, 15 on our list is an independent title. If I'm not mistaken, I think my good friend Comic Vantage, from across the pond, Lewis, he may have a copy of this for me, if I'm not mistaken. It's from Action Lab. It is a title from this year, and the book in question is Sweetheart, issue number 1. I can't imagine too many of you guys will have that one. Like I said, I haven't been to my LCS for a while. If I do manage to see it, I'll snag one, because this made me top 20, so it's got a bit of staying power. But I'm seeing them on eBay now. They are dropping. But it did okay with all the punchline noise of the Batman books. It sold 32 copies at a 7-day trend of plus 62%, and a high sale raw copy went for $9.99. Like I said, I've seen them drop in. I think they're around about the £5 mark now. Now, 14 on our list. Finally, I am off the mark. Like I said, I drove to Bristol the day this was released. I was the first one through the doors of the big Forbidden Planet there, and they had plenty of Matina covers. They had plenty of the regulars. I had one of each in my hands, only allowed to take one. So I chose the variant. Number 14 on our list, Batman 89, the cardstock Francisco Matina. B cover as such, the first cameo and cameo of Punchline and the designer. Personally, I think the designer for me has got more legs than Punchline. Although Punchline's going to have a big battle with Harlequin very soon. So that may fuel the fires again. But this book sold 20 copies, had a 7-day trend plus 104%, and a high sale CGC 9.8. Yeah, unbelievably, they are out there already. Went for $125. I paid cover price, which was £4.20 at the time, the day it came out from Forbidden Planet. And mine's not even in the highest grade. Disappointed. 13 on our list. I went to see the Bloodshot movie. I hope a lot of you guys have taken the film in as well. I am not a Vin Diesel fan. He is more wooden than Pinocchio when it comes to his acting, in my opinion. He does action okay, but I just can't take the guy seriously when he's trying to put in emotion into his performances. Like I said, I saw the Bloodshot movie with my daughter. We enjoyed it. Is it the best film ever? No. I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. The book is going to not do very well, obviously, at the cinemas because of the coronavirus. People, the cinemas are all shut down. So it is being rushed to streaming and DVD and Blu-ray release, I believe. But it had favourable reviews. Like I said, it's okay. The effects aren't too bad. Surprisingly, I think I read it only had a 45 million budget. But the special effects aren't too bad. The book in question, number 13 on our list, is Bloodshot, issue number 1 from Valiant, 1993. Yep, I just sold one of these as well. Now, this is the first ever chromium cover in the comic book world. There was a lovely pull-out poster in this issue from the legend that is Barry Windsor Smith at the centre. And it's obviously the first Bloodshot series. Well, it sold 18 copies at a 7-day trend of plus 133%, and a high sale CGC 9.8 went for $57.91. Don't overpay for this book, for goodness sake. Mine's pretty high grade, and I paid £2.75 for it in the middle of 2017. Like I said, I found another copy, not as good condition, for about £1 the other day, and I flipped it for about £5, so happy enough with that. Number 12 on our list, Batman 89, the second print, did very well with a lot of sales. And number 12 on our list is its counterpart. The first full appearance of Punchline comes in Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen, but this is the second printing, guys. That is our number 12 book on our list this time round. Obviously, a lot of people turning to that as they missed out on the first printing. Would I pay 30 odd quid for that book, the first printing? No way, Jose. I do enough hunting. I'm pretty sure I can find that book at some point for a decent price. What can I tell you about it? Well, it's obviously not in the first print numbers, but it sold decently with 27 copies sold at a 7-day trend of plus 89%, and a high sale raw copy went for $12.99. And our first runner-up to the big top 10 is number 11 on our list, is more Star Wars. And believe it or not, this one wasn't in my collection. This was in Uncanny Ethan's collection. Yeah, he started out as a big X-Men fan and he read a ton of X-Men books. But as with anything, I guess my son got bored. A lot of those early Bronze Age Marvel X-Men books are a tough read, even for us adults. So he's turned to Star Wars, and he's hitting the Star Wars books with a vengeance. And because of all the Star Wars love at the moment, this book is now trending, and that is Darth Vader, issue number 1. Yeah, this is my boy's book. And I think he actually bought this with his own money, but to see my boy hand over £5 with his own money is criminal. I bought him 4 or 5 books that day of Star Wars as well, and it certainly adds up on these new titles. Star Wars books used to be terrible market performers, but that's not the case anymore. Great to see. It sold 11 copies at a 7-day trend of plus 223%, and a high sale raw copy went for $10. Okay? Like I say, nothing really key about it, but it's Darth Vader after all, and probably the most iconic villain in cinema history. So into the big top 10, guys. And I'm not doing very well at all at the moment. Is that going to change? Not with this one. This is a book that has a lot going for it, and it's one you should be hunting for. One, it's Grail in all her awesomeness. Two, it features the first full appearance of Jessica Cruz as the Green Lantern. And three, the reveal of 3 Jokers in the DC comic verse. The book in question from 2016 is Justice League issue 50, guys. There we go. That's your book. The first reveal of 3 Jokers. What can I tell you about that one? Well, the latter is the main driver of this current trend. Yeah, there is a storyline coming out in one of the books at the moment about the 3 Jokers. It sold 20 copies at a 7-day trend of plus 123%, and a high sale raw copy went for $15. I certainly wouldn't overpay for that book. Number 9 on our list, and it comes from 1992. It's Spawn, and people love Spawn. Do you know, I have never even read this issue. I've got a ton of the early Spawn issues, but I think I've only read the first appearance of Angela, which is issue number 9. I've got the movie, and hand on heart, can't say I've ever watched it all the way through. But there is a lot of Spawn talk at the moment that Todd McFarlane's Jamie Foxx-led movie will be coming. I don't know when, but it will be coming. And this is a good book. Why? Well, it's the second title published by Image Comics. It's got stunning Todd McFarlane art. It's the first appearance of Jason Wynn, Mail Boglia, Wanda Fitzgerald, who were all in that early Spawn movie. It's that B-movie special. Got the first appearance of Sam and Twitch, Stephen Percival. A lot going for it. What can I tell you? Well, it sold 17 copies. It's a stalwart on my top 20 at a 7-day trend of plus 156%, and a high sale CGC 9.8 went for a nice $109.99. It's mass produced. There's hundreds of thousands of these, but people like it. And Car Boot Tony delivered the goods, high grade, for £1.31 to my house. Legend. Number 7 on our list. Oh, if I could find one, I would probably pick one up, and I don't do new books, but like I said, I think this designer book has legs. The book in question, this is the variant. It's not as popular as the regular, but it's doing okay. And that is Batman issue 90, the Francisco Martina cardstock variant, and it's a gorgeous, gorgeous Riddler cover, guys. The first full appearance of the designer. Like I say, I like the look of this character. It sold 34 copies. It had a 7-day trend of plus 82%, and a high sale raw went for $22.50, guys. If I can find that for a round cover, that's all I'll pay, but I'm sure I can find one eventually. Next up, and we of course are getting the Black Widow movie. It's going to be a bit of a wait now with the corona. They were talking of just putting it onto the streaming service of, I think, Disney Plus, but no, it's got to go to the cinema for me. It's got to wait. And in the latest Black Widow trailer, which I haven't seen any of the trailers, the Iron Maiden mask is briefly shown. Bit of a spoiler there for you guys. Blink and you'll miss it. And that's in the background apparently. She was rumoured to be in the movie over a year ago, and she now looks to have been confirmed. The book in question, like I said, 1983, is Marvel Fanfare, issue number 11, guys. And I think that mask can be seen around about the 1 minute 10 second mark. So slow motion that one down, guys. The first appearance of Iron Maiden is in this issue. Melina Vostokov, a female assassin and an enemy of the Black Widow. And it's also the first appearance of Nkama, Deadshot Durance, Wrangler, Black Lotus, and Kono the Sumo. So bang for your buck with this one, but of course it's all about the Iron Maiden. And she is going to be played, and I can't even think of the lady's name who's going to be playing her, but she was the wife to the old Mummy series with Brendan Fraser. James Bond's real-life wife. I can't even think of her name. You know what I'm talking about. Daniel Craig's wife. But this book sold 25 copies at a 7-day trend of plus 113%, and a CGC 9.8 went for $135. I paid £5.75 for mine the day it was announced that that character was going to be in it, and that was the 26th of January, February, March, April, May, June, July 2019. So there you go. I sold one the other day, actually. It was pretty war damaged, but they still wanted it. Number 6 on our list, and of course films are getting put back. Another film that's got put back was the New Mutants film, and I'm very excited for this. The book in question from 1983 is Uncanny X-Men 166, the direct edition. Yeah, the direct edition. It sold more copies than the newsstand version, with 30 copies having been sold. Why? Because this is the first appearance of Lockheed, and Lockheed is a dragon, and the dragon is going to be appearing in the movie. It has been seen in the trailer. So clearly this book has a lot of potential going forwards. And it's also the death of the Brood Queen and the origin of a Canty in this book. 30 copies sold of this one, and it had a 7-day trend of plus 117%, with a high sale CGC 9.6 going for $69, guys. And then up next, number 5 on our list. They're at it again. Clearly, there's a lot of love for Lockheed at the moment, because number 5 on our list is the newsstand version. There we go. Newsstand. I'd try and add that to the collection for cheap if I could find it, just to have both copies. But this one sold just 14 copies, but it had a 7-day trend of plus 311%, and a high sale raw, near mint raw, went for $39.99. Lockheed has got a lot of love. When we're going to get that film, I don't know. Was it a couple of years ago we were supposed to get it? And then, of course, it was meant for reshoot after reshoot. And apparently we're going to get it now right at the end of the year. So, number 4 on our list. And this is a gorgeous, gorgeous cover. It is an incentive Christopher variant. And the book in question is a Wolverine issue number 1, the C2E2. John Tyler Christopher variant, and there were only 3,000 copies of this made, guys, and that is a stunning Wolverine cover, isn't it? That is one of the best Wolverine covers I have seen. I'm not a cover buyer anymore, but if I saw that one cheap enough, possibly. I wouldn't pay silly money though. The fluorescent Wolverine cover just pops, doesn't it? And it was, like I said, it was limited to 3,000 copies. It sold 34 copies this past week at a 7-day trend of plus 138%, and had a big high sale of $400 for a CGC 9.8. Number 3 on our list, you're going to probably guess the last 3 on our list, guys. We're going to run through them quickly. First up is, of course, the first cameo of the designer and Punchline. I've showed you the variant that I had. Number 3 on our list is Batman 89, the regular cover, the first printing. Still selling well, guys. Still selling well, and what can I tell you about it this time? Well, it sold. Well, it had a 7-day trend of plus 92% because it sold 71 copies, 71, and had a high sale CGC 9.8 go for a whopping $132.50. It's just madness. The characters could be killed off next week. Time will tell. So that was Batman 89 at number 3, and number 2 on our list, guys. This one sold 82 copies. Batman 90, the first full appearance of the designer, and that's the regular cover, guys. I showed you the variant earlier. That was the Riddler one. The regular cover has been on fire. Fair play to these Batman books. They are selling well again, aren't they? Because Tom King killed it off for a little while. Well, having sold 82 copies, that was a 7-day trend of plus 85%, and a near mint raw went for $29.92 at its highest peak. And number 1 on our list still, and you've guessed it, guys, it doesn't take a genius. The first full appearance of Punchline, and it has been confirmed. I'm seeing the CGC labels on the forums. Hellerism, You're the Villain, issue number 3 is still going strong, still number 1, guys, and it is still selling for crazy numbers. Probably the hottest book since Batman Damned, may I go that far? It sold 125 copies at a 7-day trend of plus 92%, and a high sale near mint raw went for $56.75. That's it, guys. Punchline and the Designer still rocking my top 20. How many did I have this week? It's been a poor week for Daz. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. With the help from Uncanny Ethan, I have 6 on this week's list, guys. See if you can beat me. Most people normally do. If you like what I see, please subscribe. I'm a world record 805. I keep pumping out the content, guys. You need someone to watch. I'm the man to deliver. Bye for now.